Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Glad that you're all here, and thank you for joining us. So this morning we're going to have a discussion. Claro and Pan American Life Insurance have had a partnership for more than 14 years, and we'd love to discuss some of the details that have gone in with our partnership and how it's affected the specific insurer in the industry, and how this can obviously help and bring ideas to your companies as you are considering digital transformations. So this morning, let's start off with Fernando. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'd like to know, give us a little bit about the history about Pan American Life Insurance and your responsibilities and roles in the company.
Okay, sure. Thanks for your time here. A little bit of Pan American. Pan American is a company that at its core, we insure life and health. So we focus on people. We do not do property, we do not do cars. We focus on people and their families. We have been doing this for a little over 100 years, so that's a lot of time. And we do it across the Americas. So Central America, a little bit of South America, and a lot of islands on the Caribbean. So we have a big footprint in terms of different territories and that complexity of having to deal with a lot of regulations, then. And luckily for me, I have been with Pan American for 12 years, where I've played several roles. And currently, I am the Digital Experience Director. So that means that I deal with the external people in terms of how they interact with us with the digital channels. So mostly it's going to be portals. Some of them are going to be calls right now. Even APIs, where we have these big stakeholders that they need quick interaction with us. So that's mostly what I do.
You know what? What's interesting as we talk about this little chat, and as we were getting to discuss where we're going to go with this chat, one of the things that we're seeing today in today's world that actually affects your world, back starting 14 years ago when we started this relationship, interesting enough, is today we're trying to get to modernization. Oh, yeah. Every company is trying to figure out, but they still need to support their legacy systems while modernizing. Talk to us a little bit about that and how you've influenced that.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I'm sure that everybody here is also dealing with a similar situation where you have to deal with your day-to-day, keep the lights on, and then we're asked to do modernization, right? So for us, it started a little before 2020. It was lucky for us that we were trying to be more formal on our digital transformation. And it started with things like leadership. At the time, we had some good leaders that had taken us to so far, but then we needed to reset things. So then we started to getting into the newer tools, the Jiras, the Slacks, and stuff like that, and the newer methodologies, and adopting more agile and all that front, so that we can do the transformation. But the challenge was that we had to keep the day-to-day, and that's where you guys came in, and you brought in the skilled people. We did have some really good talent in Pan American, but they were already focused on this 100 years operations, 100 years systems, and you guys brought in that talent that we needed right away to get our transformation going. So that is one of the ways that, one of the challenges that we had is how do we get this going? We needed people, we needed the leadership, and we needed to focus on plans, right? When we started, I think that maybe it will also happen to you. You jump right into it, and you start doing a few of the projects, but then you have to think on your long term, right? And I'll start aligning all those projects that you just started into a long-term vision that it makes sense, because if not, you end up doing one nice project that modernizes this little piece, but it's not helping the future vision. So yeah, that has been one of the main challenges, how you have helped us.
Excellent. So as we talk about, you spoke a little bit about the talent, and if I could, I want to be able to talk about with you and have you discuss where this really brought you, because what we did when we started analyzing the needs of Pan American Life Insurance, we started figuring out that there were talent gaps that they had, and they came to us with those talent gaps. It could be development, software, it could be anything that they're lacking in the talent side. And what they decided to do was actually come to Claro and say, we need this resource with this specific skill set. And as they did so, they were trying to figure out, how can I bring on somebody? I might need them just for 3 months.
Right.
I might need them for a year. And traditionally, if vendors bring in talent, they charge a premium for that and or tie you to multi-year agreements that may not work for the scenario you're looking at. It might be a 3-month project, a 6-month. Tell us how the engagement with Claro has benefited your company, because we didn't tie you down to contracts like that.
Right. Okay. So that's a very interesting question. So, as you said, this relationship has been over 14 years, and when we started, you guys helped us bring the people right away. But one thing I want to mention is that this strategy that we're working together also works because we're sharing and we're being transparent with you guys. What is our long-term strategy? Over 14 years, that we have different options to work with you guys. That flexibility that, hey, we have a 3-month project over here, but this one is going to last more on a longer term. And it's not necessarily fixed to that. But I want to highlight is working together and us being open into the strategy of us. So the first reaction to sharing your strategy is like, okay, why would they need to know our strategy over here if we're just doing staff augmentation, if you want to simplify it? But when we work together and we say, hey, this is what we're looking for to go over a company, that might be something that you would think, hey, it's not necessarily to share that. But once we did that, then we started working together into different options, right? Okay, for this one, we're going to do a 3 months. For this, we're going to keep some other people over there. And even in the few cases that it made sense, that we had resources from you guys that were working for us for a long time, that were in key positions, that slowly entered these key positions, we were able to bring them in as internal employees. But that's, I think, the success that has been for us working together is sharing that strategy, you guys understanding that strategy, what do we need from it, and being flexible into the points where, okay, this might be a short-term request, this is a longer term.
And that's where I think that we've really enjoyed this partnership, because of the fact that they'll take our employees and almost an approving ground, and where they'll say, okay, we've got this great resource that's here, and we've allowed them to take and bring on that person. In fact, we have a steady stream of employees that have been adopted as full-time employees for PALIG, and what's happened to us is usually that doesn't equate to a great relationship, because some people look at us, well, wait, they're stealing our talent. No, we're actually proving the talent, and we're actually allowing Pan American as our partner to be able to say, you know what, we want this person on full time now. And we don't charge them a premium, we just say, let's just keep the relationship going. And I think that's benefited for both companies, because in the end, they get to see the talent they're going to eventually, in some cases, bring on. And we love that relationship that we've developed. Now, even this morning, we were sitting there speaking, and Fernando and I, look, both companies are huge. The first time we've both met was prior to this, okay, just in the hallway here. And we were speaking about other engagements. And what I'd like to talk about, if we could, and this will be the final topic that we're going to discuss, is AI adoption. Everyone here is trying to figure out how we adopt AI. Can you tell us a little bit about your adoption of AI? You talked about your red teams and your blue teams and what they're doing, and then tell us how now we see an engagement with Claro being a benefit to that discussion.
All right. Before doing so, I would assume the answer, but like everybody here, can you just raise your hand if you're already engaged in an AI strategy right now, or? Yeah. So did it start all well, or you had some challenges? I would assume, raise your hand if you had some challenges when we were thinking about that. Yeah, so for example, in our case, probably it's going to be the same with you. AI was Pan American being a over 100-year company. It's very solid financially, for example. But when it comes to technology, we're very traditional. So AI was like, okay, let's hold on to that. It was kind of forbidding at the beginning, right? So nobody can use any of AI. And that was drained from top to bottom, right? But we quickly realized you cannot look away. You have to get into the AI train. But then you have to be careful. You talk about governance and all that. So far, we have figured out our governance just by heart. But what has really helped us in the last even months, because AI has been a subject not for so long ago, it's quickly changing, but the change is coming also supported by the top executives, from the presidents, from the board of directors. We are managed by a board of directors, and we have recently added a lot of people that came from a very technological background, and they're very supportive into that. And they are now helping us change the culture in the company that we have to look at AI first before jumping into a big project. So we have that supported push from the top executives. We also created what we're calling the red team and the blue team. The red team is more this team that is like, okay, you want to use AI? Let's review and evaluate the use cases that you have, the tools that you're going to use, and they kind of give a pre-approval so we can start doing that. And recently we created the blue team. The blue team is more like, okay, you guys have to look for all the use cases across the company so that you can bring growth and business value to the company. So we have a team that is looking for those use cases. We have a team that is evaluating, and together we are creating the governance for it. And we're talking about AI maturity, which I would assume that you guys are also trying to think, where am I in this AI thing? Am I in the top? Am I a leader? Am I a follower? Where do I want to be? So now we're in that step on understanding our maturity. So we're looking into frameworks on understanding, okay, here we are, and you have to consider more than just where you are. Data. I'm sure data is going to be everybody's problems. In technology, that is one of our situations, particularly for Pan American. I mentioned earlier that we work in several countries. We work in over 22 countries. We also have a lot of admin systems, and we have to work with that constraint. And you guys, for example, also bring in the talent, because it's a recent art and science that you also need people with the skills and the capability. It's not just the culture, right? So you're helping us on bringing some of the talent and also allowing the people that we want to assign in the company to that so that they can focus on that long-term strategy. It's not just, AI is not just about installing, letting you use, Copilot or ChatGPT. It's not just that and doing some prompting. But yeah, that's how you guys are helping us, and that's where we are currently in our AI strategy.
Excellent. I think what Pan American is dealing with is what everyone's dealing with, which is bringing in AI into your workflows today. What other governance? And then a lot of times there's analysis paralysis. You have been looking at every possible way to try and bring it in, and you think of so many things, and then you stop. And I don't know where to begin. And this is where the engagement with Claro has really taken, again, it's a different partnership. Because as Fernando mentioned, the partnership is, they're very transparent with us. We are working with them specifically on their outcomes. Not on, hey, we want to sell you a product. No, it's the outcomes they're trying to achieve. And then for us to leverage, or for them to leverage our talent that we have to bring in and create the governance or the guardrails for AI, and then create them that roadmap that says, okay, your analysis is great, but have you thought about this, this, and this? And now here's the roadmap, how to operate within 90 days and the next year and beyond. We give them that roadmap, and now it drives a whole different understanding. They can do what they need to do. Bring more insurance, bring more insurers, bring more revenue to the company. Our side is going to help them digitally bring in that transformation and bring in an AI and bring that roadmap together. So we've really enjoyed this partnership, but I want to ask you, if you had advice for everyone here on their digital transformation, what are the pitfalls that they need to avoid, or what do they need to consider in truly being able to be ahead of the game?
All right, so for us, and maybe it's going to be different for you guys, one of the things that was a differentiator is that we did a whole restructure of our operations and IT. In fact, 3 years ago, I was in operations, overseeing everything but the US. And it was a huge decision for us, but we needed to have the right structure to execute. So that was one big thing. I'm not sure if all the companies are willing to face that, because you have to face it. And the other situation that has been key for us, Pan American, it's in a way feels like a family, because and I mean it in the way of how close you can get to the presidents, for example, to high executives and to the CEO. There are people you can see over the hallway. I'm sure there are companies that are big enough that you don't get to do that in months, probably something like that. But the conversation and how involved we have the top executives, and they are getting involved into the strategies that we work at some level, and we say, okay, here is where we are at. Let's double check if we feel that we want to be here in X amount of years, in 5 years. And they want to hear that. They want to know what are the plans, and they want to be part of that. So I know that in many companies that is usually somewhat detached. Yeah. So that's very different for us. So they are involved in the strategy, and so are you guys. So we checked everything that is being proposed. They confirmed that we're aligned together on all the different goals, from our sales goals, from our IT strategy goals, from our operational goals. They're all aligned, and not just in paper, even from all the organization. And that's why we're able to be transparent to you guys and say, hey, this is our plan. It's not something that Fernando is thinking. It is something that has been checked and reviewed all over the organization. So those are the two things that I can recommend, and hopefully you can get it done in your company too.
So in the end, in summary, look, we've got 2 minutes left, and I just want to make sure that everyone understands. The partnership that Claro and Pan American have had for the past 14 years has been an amazing partnership, and I would recommend that all of you, look, we would love to partner with all of you. Claro would be great, but here's the advice that we would give. Find yourself a partner. Yeah. A partner that you can bring in on the inside, that can know exactly what you're trying to accomplish, your outcomes you're trying to reach. When you find that partner, build that relationship, because it will serve your company well as you have a true technology advisor on your inside, operating on your behalf, not just trying to figure out what can they sell you. No, it's that partnership's going to help you grow. Find those partners. Do not allow yourself to keep going from partner to partner to partner, because you will not get the traction that you need and have a long-term roadmap for success. We appreciate the time that we've had, and the fact that we have a great partner like Pan American. Claro has been around for more than 40 years. If you haven't heard of us, we'd love to speak to you about it. But the partnerships that we bring together, like this one, is what we cherish the most.